This is the start of a busy week in the retail sector, and for anyone that's looking to save some money too. The deal days are kicking off with Amazon Prime Days starting at midnight tonight. Walmart, Target, other retailers, they're set to launch their big sales to draw in customers this summer. We're bringing back our retail expert, YSU's John Rossi, to break down which items will likely see the lowest prices on this year and how this sector is doing right now, especially amid the threat of more tariffs. John, great to have you back.
Great to be with you, Lindsay. Thanks.
Yeah, so let's talk about it. Amazon Prime Day deals, Walmart's summer savings event started midnight tonight. So Target Circle Week, that's live now, and there's other retailers that are getting in on the action. What are some of the top items that you think we're going to see the lowest prices on?
Yeah, don't forget Best Buy. Best Buy is big in there too. A lot of what we're seeing now are the devices, typically the technology devices, smartphones, tablets, laptops, even some of the major products like Dyson's products. They're on Amazon and they're available at these retailers as well. And the discounts are surprisingly high. They're almost matching what we typically see during Black Friday. So it would behoove the consumer to do a little bit of research, particularly if they have items that they're looking for fall or into the back to school period, to make a list and maybe put them in the cart for this week's sale at Amazon.
Okay, yeah, definitely a lot of deals. Walmart had indicated, though, that consumers were going to start seeing higher costs as Trump's tariffs started to take effect, if they did. So do you think shoppers really should buy ahead of the holidays or back to school if they're worried about the increases? Is this the time to buy?
Yeah, again, we've talked about it a number of times. A lot of the products that we're receiving, particularly those devices and technology products, are coming from China. And they have not sort of settled their baseline tariff. They started out the tit for tat, about 130, 150% tariffs from products from China. Now the baseline seems to settle at about 30 to 50, but we won't know for sure until after this July 9th date. And again, some of the talk this week has been maybe 10% tariffs, maybe 30% tariffs. A lot of retailers, in anticipation of those tariffs, regardless of what rate they were going to be charged, wanted to get ahead of that in terms of inventory. So a lot of stuff has landed and is available for sale, and that's great. But what we've seen is a slowdown in the supply chain. There's not a lot coming in currently, and that may indicate that fall and back to school might be a little bit more difficult in terms of inventory, in terms of availability of products.
How about consumer confidence? How is that faring, and what are the retailers doing to react to it?
We're still a little bit low. We're about 10% low year over year. The sentiment is okay. Economic conditions have improved a little bit, but the expectations have diminished a little bit more because there's an anticipation of inflation. Somewhere between 5 and 6% in the Michigan survey indicates that consumers are a little bit worried about what might come about towards the third quarter or fourth quarter, end of the year.
Do you think that's a reaction when you see the lower prices then by the retailers end of things, that they're thinking, okay, consumers, they're not feeling very confident, we better make them feel that way with some deals?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the sentiment among retailers is, sure, we're going to have to raise prices, particularly if tariffs impact our cost of doing business, whether it's transportation, inventory, or just a supplier increases. They're anticipating that if they can get ahead of that and get some numbers on the board in terms of retail sales in advance of any problems that might show up in third quarter or fourth quarter, that's a pretty good strategy.
All right, definitely something to know all about. Thank you so much for giving us your insight as always, John.
Yeah, glad to be with you. Thanks so much.